What's going on, guys? Cruzin Podcast. Welcome back. I want to talk about the documentary we watched from James Fox because we've really been diving into this lately. James Fox's Moment of Contact is a documentary on a UFO case in Brazil.
6th, the people of Varginha, Brazil, witnessed a UFO event that would change their lives forever.
Só que ele planava, ia perdendo lentamente a altitude e ia caminhando.
Call it another Roswell, if you will. That is a crashed vehicle that had beings on board.
Mas que eles não poderiam admitir a verdade, a população ia entrar em colapso.
Nada temos a esconder.
Finally, the facts will be revealed.
And James Fox is like a really good documentarian on the UFOs, on UFO cases and stuff like that. He was on Joe Rogan recently, so we want to talk about that as well. But before we get into that, I saw Guardians. That was the most recent one, Guardians 3. James Gunn, like, adding a more mature tone to the Guardians films, which I appreciated. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I thought the villain was really good as well. I kind of side with people on that, like the High Evolutionary, I think is what he's called.
Yeah.
Really
Burley
good.
King.
Yeah, and the performances all around too, like Chris Pratt, Bradley Cooper as Rocket. Like, I love what James Gunn did there, and how he handled the aftermath of like Infinity War and Endgame and stuff like that. So, Guardians is definitely worth watching. And Marvel's been missing lately; like they haven't been doing that great. But Guardians 3 I really enjoyed it. It actually made me feel something. I haven't really felt anything since like No Way Home. I don't really count No Way Home as Marvel because it's still kind of Sony, you know? But the movie actually made me like emotional. It was really good. Really good. I love what they did with Rocket and stuff. And
Good action.
yeah, good action. Really good action. And it really felt like a Marvel movie with style. Like it was like yes, James Gunn made this, you know? The other Marvel movies, not so much. In Phase 4, I haven't felt anything, and this kind of felt like
wait a minute. What do you mean, Ant-Man?
Ant-Man Quantumania?
That's the movie of the year.
Movie of the year, yeah, that one. And I kind of agree with what people are saying. I was reading up online, like this, like Guardians 3 kind of felt like a farewell to Marvel in a way, like the way James Gunn wrote that movie, and the way the movie felt. Like after Guardians 3, I kind of felt like, yeah, I think I'm officially moved on from Marvel, and that's what the film felt like.
Go watch my Superman movie.
Yeah, he's like, come to DC. But I really appreciated the movie for taking that leap into that more mature content. Chris Pratt said it too. Chris Pratt, like big year, you know, like Mario and Guardians. But I like what he said. Like the movie is kind of growing up with its fans. You know, when it came out, the first one came out almost 9-10 years ago. You know, teenagers, whatever, and now we're older, you know, like 9-10 years later, probably in their 20s or so.
And what year was the first one?
Yeah, like 2014.
Dude, I was 14.
Yeah. So, like, it's interesting. That's exactly, so you're a teen, now you're in your 20s, it hits you differently. You're older, so, like, the movie grew with you, and I really respect, like, James Gunn and all of them for approaching it that way. It wasn't just the same, you know, it wasn't a perfect movie, you know, but I liked how James Gunn handled things, like from the aftermath of the Avengers movies and stuff like that. So, you know, we got like that writer's strike going on, you know, which is kind of like which is interesting thing was at MegaCon, you know, a couple months ago, we saw Jeff Johns, and we didn't know that this was Jeff Johns, like leader of like DC Films when he was bumping heads with Zack Snyder and that was the whole drama, you know.
Right in front of us. I had no idea.
And he was showing us footage of his show that he wasn't supposed to really show us. He was like super nice, like super sweet guy. He was such a sweet guy. And then when we looked him up afterwards, because we realized who it was, because his name always rang a bell, but he has such a small panel. So I was like, why is this such a prominent figure in DC, like with such a small panel, you know? And then I watched the YouTube videos on how, like, apparently, you know, him and Zack Snyder were bumping heads and all this stuff. Everybody hated him. I was like, oh, shit, this is the guy that, you know, with the Snyderverse and stuff. Yeah. So that was interesting. But he was the nicest guy. He stayed after the panel,
And met other people.
met
took
everybody,
pictures.
signed stuff, took pictures, showed us footage. He asked us to not like record anything. He was gonna show us exclusives on his show.
And you weren't supposed to talk about it.
No. He said no video or anything.
That's it. They're gonna come after you.
Really nice guy.
Yeah,
I
it
didn't
was
get
weird.
that vibe from him. A really nice
I don't know,
guy.
again, we don't know what it's like inside.
Yeah, behind closed doors.
He's
But
like an animal.
But he even mentioned how, like, oh yeah, let's see, because there's like a writer's strike possibly gonna happen, and this was a few months ago.
He told us that months ago.
And then here we are. We're currently in the writer's strike. So he kind of like
Hey, hopefully
warned
this-
us of that.
Hopefully this doesn't take too long.
Yeah, hopefully they can come up with a solution, because it's starting to affect. Daredevil is not filming
Oof.
anymore.
No, Andor is filming without any writers or whatever on set.
Which
is-
sounds like a
that's-
bad idea.
And Rings of Power is doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's a bad idea.
Like your
And-
show's already ass. Like why are you just
Yeah,
trying
no.
to make it even worse?
And then Deadpool 3, apparently, when they start filming, like Ryan Reynolds is not going to be able to improv any lines or anything, because that means like you're kind of rewriting the
But
script.
how would they know?
I don't know. There's like a weird gray area with that,
That's stupid. If your script was already done, you should be allowed to.
Yeah, but it's improvisation.
Yeah, but that's what he's known for.
Yes, but that's considered rewriting.
Oh, then don't film.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because
And
like
Blade was
literally
another one.
the whole Deadpool movie is like it's just him improving most of the
Yeah,
stuff.
and then that's the thing, So it's better to just wait and let them come up with a solution
don't
than
fuck up
letting
that
it affect
movie.
your movie. Blade just
No,
got a new
but
writer.
The thing is, you have to because Hugh Jackman's been working out for fucking 6 months.
Yeah, it's a tough spot. And then Blade just got a brand new writer. Remember they revamped everything.
Blade. No, but now supposedly they cut out Kit Harington.
Yeah, and not just that, they got a brand new writer. Now that writer's like, oh no, we're in writer's strike. So Blade just can't catch a break.
No, that movie's gonna be a disaster when it launches.
Yeah.
It's gonna have like the worst possible CGI.
Yeah.
The movie's gonna be like, what's it remind me of the Hellboy,
Yeah.
the one with David
David Hayter.
not the good ones.
The David Hayter one.
Not David Hayter. No,
David Harbour. David Harbour.
That's Snake. David Hayter's Snake.
David Hayter's, Metal Gear. David Harbour. Yeah, David Harbour.
Metal Gear.
Metal Gear. So yeah, that's very unfortunate. Like that's kind of like going on right now. He was cool dude. He was at the writer's strike, protesting. Chris Nolan, Jonathan
I
Nolan.
didn't know he's wrote a lot of movies.
Yeah, really good credentials.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Really good credentials. Chris Nolan was at the strike. Jonathan Nolan. I mean, everybody, man. So I hope they can like come up with a solution. Just pay your writers. That seems to be the issue. Is they're not paying the writers enough, and writers are everything. Like they make the
But
blueprint
wasn't
of
it
the
something
movie.
they wanted to do with AI?
Oh no, that was something else that they're gonna. The studios want to like do AI generated
And then they have writers
scripts,
come in.
and then people
Yeah,
come
but-
in to like
but
fix those scripts.
yeah, but that's what writers don't want to do though. Like they want.
It's not organic. Like you're literally gonna get like Hollywood will literally become like just a mechanical system. Like there will be no hearted movies anymore, and that's already happening now because studios want the same movie over and over, and they're just making writers do the same thing. So imagine with AI, like it would be there would be no humanity in a script.
Yeah, like for example, I mean, I don't know.
Artistic expression is like the human experience is an AI. Like that's very
and not only that,
crazy.
Like, and also like for probably like for books too and stuff. You know what I mean? Like for, I mean, I don't know if it's a good comparison. It's probably a bad one, but like the guy who did Dune.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Imagine like an AI generated, and then he just like I don't know, like I feel like the writer, like he created that world in that book. You know what I mean? Like he put his.
Yeah, there's a piece of themselves, and
And now look at the movies. You know what I mean? Like the Dune movie. You know?
Yeah. That's a scary path.
Because I don't know, because like when you see the trailer for Dune 2, like you feel like you see the passion that they have for those books.
Yeah. That trailer was great.
You know what I mean?
too, the
Like
Dune
like
2
you feel
trailer.
like the passion, like you can tell they really care about that series.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like with AI, it's just like, oh, like he's an AI
where it's just gonna be a
generated.
mechanized, just like pump out movies every certain amount of time. But yeah, that Dune 2 trailer looked great. Dune looks awesome. Dune looks exciting. Dune looks an exciting big blockbuster with just good. It just looks good. There's no green screen fest anywhere, no volume, like shot on location.
A movie.
It's a good, just great artistic blockbuster franchise, you know? So I'm really excited for that. That trailer looked great. Everybody looks great in it. Austin Butler looks insane.
I don't know, but like the part of him screaming, like he looks like a scary baby.
Yeah,
like just screaming at you.
It doesn't look like him at all.
I don't know, because him being bald like that.
Yeah,
they don't have like eyebrows, nothing.
It looks so good, and then makes you wonder.
And I like too how their world is like black and white.
Yeah, that's what people are saying.
For that
the
scene.
fact that we're getting a big blockbuster like this with so much like freedom creatively, the black and white in this, it doesn't feel like a generic blockbuster, which is awesome.
Great cast.
Yeah, and I'm really that and like Oppenheimer are like my top 2 this year, and then behind that, like I think Flash looks really good.
Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible, which they're saying is the best one yet. I think they clocked it under 3 hours. It's like right under 3 hours long.
Make it 4.
They're saying it's really good.
It's his last 2. You know what I mean? Just go out with a bang.
So you see this stuff, and it's like I don't know how the whole AI thing is really interesting. Just wanting to like
because
it's getting more and more.
It needs that human element to it.
Yeah, the whole if AI can take over our like creativity, like our creative jobs. I get like mechanical stuff, right? Like a cashier or like like at a Walmart. All right, fine. Have like a machine do it, like self-checkout. But if we have AI like taking over creative jobs, like what is our purpose as humans?
Yeah, like
we would have no purpose. Yeah. Like we would have no jobs. I'm talking like deep in the future. We would have no creative expression and we'd have no purpose. Like we wouldn't. What would we do? It's kind of like it would be like a mix of like iRobot. Like they just do everything.
What's another one?
I can't think of the other one right now. I know there's another movie. Let us know if I can't remember it right now.
I know there's another movie.
I think of iRobot in the sense of like they're everything, right? They're like the police. They shop for you. You just don't have to do anything.
Will Smith slapping you.
Yeah, keep my wife. Which is really scary, and it seems like we're heading that route, and also kind of leans into the other film we want to talk about, like Moment of Contact, in a little bit, the documentary, because this whole AI thing and it's evolving really fast, like really, really fast. And like, Elon Musk came out saying, like it's dangerous.
You saw what happened?
We will end up like Skynet, like Terminator.
In Florida, a guy got scammed like $600. A guy used the AI thing to be his daughter's voice. And so,
I heard about that.
And when he picked up the phone, because he said that during the time his daughter went on a trip. So, and he hears his AI, like at the time he didn't know, but it was like an AI thing of his daughter talking, like, oh, I need help. And as a dad, he's like, oh my God. Like, so where like $600?
And it was just somebody that.
But it was just an AI thing. It was a guy using an AI.
The whole plot of like Avengers Age of Ultron, like that would be AI.
Yeah.
Like this hub, the AI would have access to everything. It can wipe out our bank accounts. It can wipe out anything in the digital world, and it could collapse us as humans and leave us scrambling and fighting each other because there's no AI to fight. Like it's not like Terminator. That's what like Elon Musk was saying. It wouldn't be like Terminator in the sense of like this robot like trying to kill everybody. It would just do it from within, like Ultron or something. If it has control to all of our systems, we have all our info like in the digital world, our money, our like data, all our information. So that it would just take over. It would take over. And Elon Musk said that, the CEO of Google said that, like he wants that. Like he wants like a digital god, which is very scary. Because then that digital god would evolve and just surpass us. Like it would destroy us. And next thing you know, like AI, I heard from a friend, a coworker of mine, he told me this story that this AI that it needed to do, it was aware that it wasn't physically able to do something, like in the material world. I forgot what it was. I can't remember exactly. It wanted to like do something, but it knew it was limited and it couldn't do it. So it convinced a human. It hired a human somewhere else to like do it for them. So like these AIs are smart enough to understand like I know my limits because I'm like limited to this like system. But if I can convince a human to do the physical part for me, and then I could like that's scary, man. That's crazy. Because next thing you know, that our evolution would be that, right? It would be AI taking over, and we would be like slaves to AI, and they would find a way to like transfer their. Think of AI as like a soul, and like it would be able to transfer its soul to like a body because we'll become so
isn't that kind of what
cyber
like the movie Her? Like the movie Her, like she tries to do that.
Yeah, or
you never like when they like they want to like have sex.
Yeah,
but she hired a girl to put on like the
kinda. But imagine being able like think of like Neuralink
and Blade Runner did the same thing.
Think of like Neuralink or something, right? Like if we start putting microchips and like all these computer parts on us, we'll slowly just become like, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Cyberpunk?
Yeah, like cyberpunk. We'll just literally be like cyber beings. We wouldn't even be fully human until eventually we'll just become like robots. And that's how they'll be able to transfer. Because if we have like imagine we have a Neuralink. And the AI can like tap into all the Neuralinks.
Well,
it controls our body. That's it. It would become us, and we would become like a zombie.
Look at Black Mirror. Remember that episode of Black Mirror that we saw?
Which one? I don't remember.
I remember. It's like they have that chip in their head, and never. It's like this about this guy, and it's like you never how they have how the couples have sex, but they're not really having sex. It's like they're just watching like memories.
Oh yeah, memories and stuff because it remembers everything.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot of stuff like that, man.
I think like season 1 or 2.
Yeah, it's early. That's early seasons. It's really interesting. Because then, with the Neuralinks and all that, AI becomes smart enough. It could just take over our bodies with all the, cyber crap on us, like a Neuralink or something. We would become like cyber beings, and then AI would take over. That's it. It's really interesting. And then we would become like this. Maybe like it's interesting. Like, are we just like a step in that evolution? Like, there's humans, but then there's like AI. There's like robots, and the robots overthrow us, and then they keep creating. And because robots don't really have like emotion, they just think of everything like logistically. Humans were emotional, like, oh fuck you, I'm gonna nuke you. But robots are more like, and then that's like a slow evolution. Robots, and then maybe robots meet with UFO. I heard a theory about that. I don't know if I told you about that. I think I sent it to you. It was like a long scripture. This would be a good pathway into the film, The Moment of Contact. But that like extraterrestrials have been indirectly influencing us to create AI. Right? Indirectly as in like, where do we get our thoughts from? There's like a different realm, like a different realm of consciousness where that's where ideas come from. Right? It's like a quantum thing. So like paranormal, right? There's ghosts or something. You know how we have dreams of ideas and stuff? That's like another realm that we just don't understand. And people think like extraterrestrials they understand that realm, and they can like tap in and out of it. And they've been like indirectly influencing us. Because how like for example, the movie Dune, they can communicate telepathically. What's the rumor about like extraterrestrials? They communicate telepathically. So that's a different realm. When you can communicate, you're in a different field, like frequency. So that basically, like they've been indirectly influencing us to like keep wanting to develop AI, so that we can develop AI and understand the power of like consciousness. Like we built like an AI god, so that we can finally understand what real consciousness is in the sense of like what like the real God is, which is that realm of consciousness and thought and like telepathy and all that stuff. So like an AI, when we create that AI God, we would finally kind of have like the smarts to understand that. And I guess through the AI God, that's how we would that's when they would then start working with us, because we understand technologically and also kind of like spiritually how it works, and then we just like, and then it gets crazier, and then from there it's like so we can work together to break out of the simulation because there's a simulation. That's where it gets crazy, and they want to break us out of the cycle of the simulation, but they need us to evolve so that we can work together with the AI and like this whole thing, and then just like there's like a simulation. It's really crazy. It's a really crazy theory. Really crazy theory. Yeah. I don't know. Because apparently these extraterrestrials are thousands, maybe if not millions of years ahead of us,
Stop twerking.
Stop twerking and do something.
But give me Megan the Stallion.
It's really interesting. And we'll get into it now because it kind of leads into that. But like, the Moment of Contact from James Fox, a really great movie, documentary about the UFO case in Brazil, like in 95, 96, mid-90s, of a crashed UFO craft into Brazil, into like, like a little grassland, trees, whatever, and a guy saw it, and he interviewed this guy, and the guy showed him the spot, and it was really emotional for him. Long story short, the craft, it was damaged, it crashes, and then in that same block, in that same city, multiple witnesses claim seeing this weird extraterrestrial running across, like hurt, very feeble, like if it was dying. And one of the girls said that when they looked at it and made eye contact with her, that she just had this thought, like communicate with her, like almost telepathically, telling her like to help it, that it was hurt, to help it. It was very and it was like against the wall and stuff and all that. And the movie goes way deeper into like the girls tried drawing it themselves, and they had an artist draw something out of what they saw. Big, like kind of like big red eyes, like oily, silky skin, strong stench. They smelled really bad, apparently. Yeah, I mean, and it goes into that. All the witnesses. I mean, the city has like a monument, like a structure of a disc,
And of the alien.
And people claiming that they saw crafts hovering over their house, like another one, and that it was searching for something because there was something, on the craft, and it looked like it was searching. And people coming out.
They were saying they were probably looking for
like a search party.
Yeah, they were trying to find their missing people.
It's really, really interesting. That whole case, and James Fox was on Joe Rogan talking about it, and the fact that these things are so advanced.
And the one that the guy touched, the security, the army guys.
And then another one was crossing the street. These military guys see it. He picks it up.
They almost hit it with the car.
Yeah, he picks it up. They try taking it to like multiple hospitals. Nobody wants to deal with it. That guy died not too long later. They think it's from like some bacterial infection.
Yeah, his immune system like shut down.
Yeah, and
they didn't want to say what he died of. They didn't want to release his blood work.
Yeah, the family never got his like autopsy or anything like that. It's a crazy story.
And the guy that was with him doesn't want to talk about it.
Yeah, the one guy that apparently drove this extraterrestrial around.
With his partner, the one that died.
Yeah, that drove the partner.
And he doesn't want to talk about it.
He said, I don't want to talk about the alien. That was the first thing he said. He didn't even want to, and he threatened to shoot them and everything. It's on the documentary. And it's crazy stuff.
No, but there's 2 crashed aircraft.
Yeah, it was 2. It's really crazy stuff. The whole UFO talk gets like stigmatized, Now
it's UAP.
Now it's UAP, but it gets stigmatized, and a lot of it is like grifters, like bullshit on the internet, But when you find the right people, like James Fox he's a filmmaker, documentary guy, and he's been just doing the cases that he feels are true for the last 30 years.
And that's like, how do you lie about that?
And the whole town talks about it. Even the mayor and they all believe in everybody. A little bit of everybody saw something,
Yeah, the whole town saw it.
People showing up to the witnesses' houses, telling them offering them money, not to say anything, to say that their daughters were lying. The daughters that saw the being and made eye contact with it and stuff. And It's really interesting, this whole thing. It's been like really fascinating. And I really like James Fox's documentaries. You know, he did The Phenomenon, and he's done some other good ones. And I really want to talk about it on here because, you know, I feel like that's important, man. That's like that would be the biggest news of all time. The biggest story. Like, we are not alone. These, like, whatever they are, these UFOs have been around, I mean, for generations. I mean, you look at ancient paintings and there's UFOs, like the same discs carved in, like, you know, into like sacred like pyramids or structures, or even in paintings, you know. I think there's one of like Jesus, and the one that we saw of like the craft, like a disc beaming a light, and then it was him like getting beamed, like not getting beamed up, but it kind of looked like it. He was on the ground, you know. And it's crazy. It's a great documentary. It makes you question, because it's a documentary with a lot of witnesses and testimonies and stuff like that. It's not like going on a Netflix series, you know, like the Skinwalker Ranch one that we tried watching, where you smell the bullshit. Like, oh, this is all bullshit. This is just theater. But here, I mean, you really watch the witnesses and them, how they are communicating what happens to them. That? You know, and nobody's gonna believe you. You know, really great documentary. Moment of Contact. James Fox. Good for him. Like, we need more of that, man. Like, I feel like we're on the cusp. Like, it's right there.
Logan Paul would release that fucking video.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna mention. We were talking about this a little bit before. This came out today.
Not exactly all Mr. Important.
Yeah, this came out today. So the James Fox on Joe Rogan came out and saying, like, there's a footage on a VHS tape
from the 90s.
From the 90s of this guy, Chuck Clark, and he went to talk to this guy to see this footage and all that, and he said the footage is really interesting, you know, and
it's a VHS tape. Like, how do you like?
And
I don't know.
He offered him.
I feel like that's hard to fake it.
And he offered him like $100,000. No, he offered to buy it. He said no. And apparently, like, Logan Paul heard about this because James Fox has been on the Impulsive podcast before, so they talk. And Logan Paul apparently went over there, offered him $100,000 after he said. Logan Paul said on the video, I gotta mention the video today. He talked about it today on the podcast. That after he saw the footage, he offered $100,000. It was after.
I guess it was
so something in him when he saw that footage, even though he wants to act like it, you know, like he wasn't impressed. If you saw that footage and you wanted to offer this guy $100,000, like, something stood out to you. So, and James Fox talked about the footage, and it was these guys in their car driving, and then stuck in traffic or something, and they look, and it was like the craft hovering over them. And he says it's a very crazy video. And of course, it's hard to believe because we don't see it, you know? It's always the case. But apparently this Chuck Clark guy who lives in the middle of nowhere has it. It was given to him. And Logan Paul went over there, and he had a hidden camera, button camera on his shirt, and he filmed it without the guy knowing, without Chuck Clark knowing, and he got the footage anyway. So Logan Paul came out and explained, like, yeah, I have it, you know. He says he's waiting for the right time, whatever that means, because he wants to know if it's real first.
Hey, bullshit. He's just trying to milk it and make money.
I don't think it's fair because he came out and said, I don't think it's fair that you have this footage when people deserve to see this.
And then now you're doing
it's like, now you have it, and you're not releasing it to the everyday person.
He just wants to milk it to probably get some more extra subs out of it.
Yeah, of course.
He probably wants to go on Joe Rogan to show the footage.
Yeah, something crazy.
He probably wants to go on Joe Rogan to show the footage to Joe Rogan. Like, he probably like connects it, shows the footage that he has to him right there.
Probably.
That's probably what he wants to do.
Make it a big thing. And
to make a big event.
I think he did mention that he was like, I was gonna save this for Rogan. I don't know. It's hard to believe who, but it's like, just release the footage, you know. And James Fox came out saying, like, oh, like, thank you for acknowledging it, and that you saying that you have it. And I hope we can see the footage, man. Like, whether it's real or not, we don't know. But let the people decide.
But the thing is, if he was to show it, people who know about that VFX stuff can like, okay,
let people break it down.
Let's break it down. Okay, like what's because if it's VFX in the 90s, you can tell. You know what I mean? Like you can like there's always a way to tell if it's
and
fake
he
or
said
not.
that when he was watching the footage, he was scrolling, right? Like he was scrolling the video back and forth. You know, like how you scroll, like editing, scrolling back and forth. And he says that nothing seemed jittery, nothing seemed. And I think I get what he means because they kind of made fun of him. Like they joked around saying, "Oh, but you know, Jurassic Park came out. Like there was good of animation." But,
no, but you can
he said
tell.
that in the scrolling, the way it was hovering, he said that it looked really real. And
yeah, because the thing is, because VFX in the 90s was not how it is now. Like you can tell, like you know, like you can spot the VFX. Like you know what I mean? Like
yeah, it's hard.
It's hard to explain but like VFX, you can like because like yeah, like in like Star Wars or like you can tell it's VFX. I don't know. It's a way you can tell.
Especially now looking back, you can tell what's real or fake. But the only thing is, we can't know for sure until we see it. And I think let the people see it. But I get it. I know he's gonna just let this play on a little bit.
He probably wants to go on Joe Rogan, show the footage on Joe Rogan, make a whole big thing out of it.
Yeah, he's gonna try to make his money off of it.
Yeah, to get more press on him, more money.
Yeah. So, which is a shame because I think if this is real, you know, and I think James Fox kind of said that he feels that it's real.
It's pretty convincing. He says it's
pretty convincing.
I mean, Balthazar can see it. I mean,
at this point, not even just let the people see it.
I mean, because he's worked on them.
You know, let the people see it, and if it's fake, okay, but like,
yeah, whatever.
Let the conversation stir, because this needs to like, and all this stuff, whatever with Logan Paul, but at least it's good that people, because he has a huge audience, right? Even if he's gonna try to milk it and make money off of it, but it's good. This UFO thing is getting more and more awareness.
I think
something's gonna come out.
No, I think at one point they have to just announce it. Like the cameras are everywhere,
and it's getting bigger and bigger. You know, like there's more and more things coming out, and I think I
especially
do think,
with all these pilots now, all these Navy.
And I do think within our lifetime something is gonna happen. Like something is gonna get revealed. Because
look, we have pilots like military pilots coming out and speaking.
Yeah. But it's just scary, you know. I mean, you're the government. These are people that, you know, in the moment of contact, they talk about it. The witnesses that they said these foreigners. Yeah, it sounds very like Men in Black. What's Men in Black about? The movie, right? The comedy with Will Smith. It's about this secret government that works with aliens and make sure that nobody sees these aliens. And if you see them, they come and splash a light and make you forget. It's weird how through Hollywood we're being told these things like directly to our face. They just cover it as a comedy to like, so you laugh it off. That's why when you talk to an average person about UFO, they're gonna laugh at you. You know, it's the old tactic that government and Hollywood do to like kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Shrug off that topic, right? You know, we've seen it before when like the whole Pizzagate thing was a thing, right? And everybody laughed at that and they brushed it off. And then the whole Epstein news came out and, oh shit, this guy actually had an island and all this stuff was going down. With UFOs, it's the same thing. What do? We brush it off and they make it as a joke until shit starts getting serious. And we have these Navy pilots coming out and we're seeing some footages and it's getting serious. And I think within our lifetime, I think something's going to come out. It's brewing. There's too much brewing going on. And I think it's gonna happen.
Release the fucking video.
Yeah, I really hope he does. I hope so. Like you have that. You have that. Just show it to the people.
God.
Show it to the people, man.
Stand that shit.
Because this is the biggest thing, right? Like I heard a podcast with I forgot the filmmaker's name, but he did a documentary on the Zimbabwe case. And he said the same thing. Like, what if?
Wasn't that James Fox?
No. It was he did a piece of it, but there's a guy that did a whole movie on it.
Oh.
Yeah, like it was a different director. I forgot his name right now. He was on the Concrete podcast. But he came out. He was basically saying like maybe with these extraterrestrials revealing themselves, it would bring people together. It would bring the world together. Now, what's the counter to that, right? How
Well,
does
it's
our
not-
world
yeah,
work?
yeah,
Look
but
at
it's
the movie
not-
Arrival.
Yeah,
How
but
does
it's
our
not-
world?
Yeah, it's not like just us. It's like the other countries.
Yeah, no, and how does our world work? Our first thing is conflict. You know, I think who was it that said it? I think it was Ronald Reagan during his term. He said that the only like what other better thing than like an outer world threat to bring our world together. So that's like that's how the government thinks. The first thing they think of is like conflict. You know, like extraterrestrials bad. Let's all team up. Let's like Independence Day. What's the movie Independence Day about? You know, it's all of the Earth gathering together to fight aliens. A lot of Hollywood movies is aliens are going to invade us and this and that. If they wanted to, they would have already. Clearly, they're more advanced than us. You know, so it's really interesting, that whole thing. And Moment of Contact, just really good documentary. James Fox does a great job with that, and it just makes you think. The people describing the crafts and what they look like, very similar, small. Bob Lazar says they're like the kids. They call them the kids, you know, very small. I think there was like a theory from the Pentagon that came out that they think that maybe there's like a mothership and they're sending probes over to like Earth. And that's why the crafts are small. And they're just kind of like, just to like, I guess, see what's here, you know? Maybe they look at us like as a lower, which we probably are, clearly, is like just less evolved species, you know? Like how we look at like monkeys or any other animal that we're, you know, above. Maybe that's how we look at us, you know? They look at us, they kind of see, and that's where the hot spots they say are like nuclear facilities, because, you know, what is it? I think it was like Joe Rogan, or I forgot who said it. I think it was actually James Fox on the podcast. It was like, it's like giving a newborn baby matches. Like you don't want to leave a baby with matches. They're going to burn themselves, right? Or like a monkey with like a bomb. Like if a monkey develops like a nuclear bomb, what are we going to do? We're going to be like, nope, let's just make sure that this is under control, you know? And maybe that's how they look at us, you know? If they're way more evolved than us, are they waiting for us to evolve? You know, that was another theory. There was like a Israeli general, which I told you about this, that, you know, he really high credentials, and he said that there's like alien civilizations and that they know about us, but like they don't want to reveal themselves to us because we're not ready yet. You know, a lot of stuff, and I don't know, but Moment of Contact, The Phenomenon, a lot of James Fox's movies, The Phenomenon as well, it really dives into a bunch of cases that he feels are valid. And that's the thing. He won't just jump into any case. He really makes sure he does his research. And I think for Moment of Contact, I mean, he says it's like over 10 years in the making of just really researching and making sure it's valid before he jumps in, because that's his reputation on the line, you know? He doesn't want to come out with some bullshit movie and it's like bullshit, you know? So, yeah, I mean, it's really interesting stuff, you know? So definitely watch it, check out his stuff, and hopefully something comes out, and I think in our lifetime it's going to happen. It's brewing way too much. There's a lot of, and with the internet, the power of the internet, I'm really starting to see like a shift, you know? But it's just stuff going on. Moment of Contact, we saw that, and definitely check it out. Even if you're not into it or don't believe it or anything, but like kind of have an open mind and just like watch it and see what you feel, and if it makes you like think a little bit, you know? It's hard to believe, of course, but we'll never know until.
I mean, look what happened with that singer.
Which singer?
That Camilla.
Oh yeah, Camilla Cabello. This is a very interesting clip. It was like her on Jimmy Fallon, and she was in Colorado or something in the mountains with her parents.
Was it Colorado?
Somewhere in the mountains. With her parents, and she took a picture.
The left mountain
on her phone, but it was like a live picture, and a craft literally flew over
screen grab of it. So if you
them.
Guys,
Them
there's two.
in the picture.
There's
She didn't
two.
notice it because
that
how fast
does
it
not
went.
look
but
like a bird. It's not a phone thing
in
because
the
you
But
see
picture.
when you
clearly
like, when you hold the phone, like when you
yeah,
hold
the
the picture,
live photo,
when you,
photo.
Yeah, when you hold it, like you see the crowd moving.
And she
like,
showed this on Jimmy Fallon, and the crowd wasn't even laughing.
like everyone was kind of freaked out.
Everybody was freaked out.
Even
And
Jimmy
she-
Fallon was a little freaked out.
And she said that she's not a UFO person. She doesn't care about that stuff.
No,
and
but
it just
after that
happened.
photo happened, then if you look, like two
There's
more
multiple.
come up from the sides.
Yeah,
Can you imagine you got a UFO without even realizing? But that shows how quiet.
that's how quick too.
And
That's how quick.
because imagine you're there just doing your moment, and over you, a UFO just flew over
That's
you.
the thing. That's probably why it's hard to get footage of this stuff unless you're like military, you know? Because if you're military
You have radars. You have
and
all
you
that
see the
stuff.
radar stuff and it's like, oh shit, you know? So that's very like they're quick and they're quiet and it's too quick. You're never prepared for it, you know? Unless they're
and now it's
stationary.
because luckily she was taking a picture already. Like
Just pure luck.
yeah,
Pure luck. But yeah, guys. Yeah. That's our podcast for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, guys. Thank you so much for watching and for listening. And to the next one. Bye.